We're going to get a bit more context now with our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert, who joins me on the set. This is a long-standing conflict, as we just heard there, nearly a century. What exactly is behind this conflict?
Well, no one could figure it out precisely, to be honest. And if you're raising your eyebrows, it seems like, oh, they're at it again. They're fighting again. This is a long simmering conflict in the cliche terms of the headlines. But why are they actually fighting? Look, even before, that flare up in July, the 5-day conflict that killed at least 48, displaced hundreds of thousands, we had the ratcheting tensions, to use another cliched phrase, for months. We had basically both sides imposing border restrictions, Cambodia refusing to import Thai fruits and vegetables, also a ban on the power grid, on internet services coming out of Thailand. We had a heightening of troop presences on both sides, by both parties along that border, Cambodia's northern border, Thailand's southern border. So it had been sort of coming to a boil. But once again, I know context is everything. We say it all the time. When we say it's everything here, it goes back literally to the time when France was still occupying Cambodia. Remember, Cambodia was a French protectorate in Indochina. During that occupation, around the turn of the 20th century, in the early part of there was a map demarcated by France, basically, a map of that border between Cambodia and Thailand, which today is about just over 800 kilometers, 500 or so miles. It demarcated a border which is hotly disputed then, back in, say, 1908, and hotly disputed more than 100 years later, to the point that, say, one of the factors in this, Cambodia claims as its own a centuries-old temple on territory that it says is on its side of the border, and it claims it as a UNESCO heritage site, it filed for heritage status. Thailand obviously is going to dispute that. When we say disputed border tensions, it's a throwaway term, but it really goes into historical border disputes, nationalist tensions, the way the countries each see their own sovereignty and their own sovereignty over what they say is their own territory. But once again, you could blame it on the French in a way, because it does go back to colonial times. And as with a lot of these ancient, these old colonial borders, they, in the present day, continue to galvanize and catalyze these types of disputes and conflicts.
Now, Doug, as you mentioned, there was that flare-up of violence in July. In the wake of that, there was a ceasefire that was brokered by Donald Trump and Malaysia's prime minister. What happened to that deal?
It was a ceasefire that Donald Trump said he brokered, right? Now, Donald Trump has, been at every turn, whenever he gets a chance, talking about he's the president who's, going to put an end to all wars. He keeps a running count. I think it was last at 7 or 8 conflicts that he claims to have ended. The problem with the Thailand-Cambodia dispute is, even though it also had the participation of Malaysia's prime minister, it never really was a steady ceasefire. It was precarious, and even that's being generous, precarious at best. What happened is, right after the 5-day conflict in July, I think it was around July 28th, there was an initial agreement just to stop firing at each other, the time that we could at least try to cobble something together, some sort of more durable ceasefire. It was in late August that both Donald Trump and the Malaysian prime minister all stood together. They were in Kuala Lumpur, and they agreed to what they call what Donald Trump has called the Kuala Lumpur Accords. You might remember the photo op at the time. It was yet another war that Donald Trump claimed to have put an end to. The problem is, less than a month later, in mid-November, so we're talking less than a month ago, November 11th, Thailand suspended it, saying that Cambodia essentially wasn't abiding by the terms of the accord, something Cambodia hotly disputes. And since then, it's been a ceasefire in name only, because neither side has really accepted it as such and said that the other side has continued to violate the terms. Now, Thailand accuses Cambodia. This isn't just like the border disputes in the past where you had rifles used. A lot of the people on the ground will tell you this time there's some heavy artillery being used. There are drones being used. There are multiple rocket launchers being used. A lot of drone surveillance. This is modern technology being employed in a long simmering, long-standing historical dispute. Unclear where we go from here. Will Donald Trump be able to step in and intervene again and put an end to it? That is far from clear, because right now, even Thailand, the officials are suggesting that it's up to Thailand and Cambodia to solve this. A gentle hint, hint, nudge, nudge that Donald Trump's intervention is not going to be the trick that does the job and puts an end, or at least a semi-durable end to this over 1 century border dispute.
Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Douglas Herbert.